Hello, this is Mr. O'Driscoll, and today we'll be working with Chapter 1, 1-4 Exponents. If you wish to increase the size of the screen there on TeacherTube, there are some little switches at the very bottom of the screen that you can click on that will erase that ad, and then you can also make it a full size. When we talk about exponents, we're talking about the base. That's, a lot of kids call that's the big written number, like the number 5 there. And in a power, that's the exponent. That's that small little 3. So 5 to the third power really means 5 times 5 times 5. And if we multiply that out, we're going to get 125. Now we can also use numbers. We can also use letters, which is considered a variable. There are several problem types, as you can see here on the screen. The first time I might tell you to write it as a product using exponents. Now nothing in the instruction says to solve it, so we're not trying to get a total answer. So when you see W times W times W times W, that just simply means W to that fourth power. W is the base, 4 is the power. And then another example with a number, 7 times 7 times 7, that just simply means 7 to the third power. A second type of example, and you can see here at number 2, we're going to write the exponents as products. That means letters or numbers. So I have 7 to the third power, W to the fifth power. That simply means 7 times 7 times 7 times W times W times W times W times W. That's it, you are done. Now comes a more complicated one. You'll see it sometimes on the instructions. It'll say the word solve or variable. Excuse me, solve or evaluate. That actually means we have to multiply it out. So again, we have 5 to the third power. That means 5 times 5 times 5. Well, 5 times 5 is 25, and 25 times 5 is 125. Or I might give you a variable, W to the fourth power. But I'll tell you that W in this example is a 2. That means W times W times W times W. You replace the variable with the number 2. So you would have 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, and that is 16. The big thing that you have to remember is write it out so you actually get the answer you're looking for. And again, here's just another illustration of it. We have 2 to the third power. The base number is 2. The exponent is 3. And as you can see down here in the illustration, the number being multiplied, that's the number 2. The exponent is telling us how many times we're going to multiply it. It's a 3. So we're going to write 2 times 2 times 2, and the answer is 8. Take a look at that, and here we go. These are actually going to fill in as I go ahead and touch the board. But you can see the first one, we have 6 squared. Again, I always want you to write it out. But that actually means 6 times 6 is 36. And if you see those red squares, I have 6 across the top and 6 going down. It would be 6 times 6 is 36. 5 to the second power, that means 5 times 5, or 25. Now you can see the green squares, and there's 5 going across and 5 going down. And we'll just continue. 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. You can see the yellow squares. 3 squared, well, 3 times 3, and that's a 9. Next we have 2 times 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. Well, 1 to any power, whether it's the second power or to the third power, whatever power it is, 1 is always just 1. So that's an illustration of how to do some of those simple numbers. Just remember, we are always multiplying. Okay, here we go. Now we have a little bit more of a complicated problem. Now you see m to the second power plus 6 to the second power. And I'm telling you that m, the variable, is the number 2. I always want you to write it out. Don't just try to do it in your head. So this is going to become 2 times 2 plus 6 times 6. Remember from PEMDAS, we always do our multiplications first. This becomes 4. 6 times 6 is 36. Now we can add it and we get the answer 40. Always on your papers, circle your answer. The next problem, they're both variables. B squared, A squared. Okay, there's no sign between that B and the A. When you see letters right up next to each other, it means multiply. So we're multiplying B squared times A squared. We're going to substitute again. So the first thing I'm going to write is 3 squared. And you can put the little dot in there for multiplication. And then I'm going to write 4 squared. Now we, again, always write it out. So this means 3 times 3 times 4 times 4. Well, this is multiplication. We could just go straight across and multiply the numbers from the left to the right. But sometimes it's easy to go 3 times 3 because you might already know that in your head. That's a 9. 4 times 4, that's 16. Don't take the chance and try to do 16 times 9 in your head. Write it out. Get the points. 9 times 6 is 54. Carry the 5. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 5 is 14. So my answer here would be 144. We circle our answer. And the big thing that I'm looking for in the class is we're showing all the work. That's the important part. Show the work. So again, look at this. We've done some PEMDAS work. We've worked with some variables. We've worked with multiplication. And we've worked with exponents. Okay, hopefully you'll have no problem with your homework. And if you do, please ask questions in class.